She's a full stack developer. She has a background in RF hardware engineer and six years of industry experience. She transitioned to software development out of an initial interest in web design. She started studying Python and then obtained a diploma in software engineer from BrainStation. Yamuna currently volunteers at Reality AI Labs. She works with React, Node.js, Express, and Python. She enjoys solving problems, building user-friendly applications, and she continues to explore new tools to grow as a professional. Thank you very much for being here today with us, Yamuna. I'll let you take the floor, and yeah, we're
Hi,
excited to have you here.
thanks Anna for the introduction. Hi everyone. So this is going to be a very brief introduction of Next.js. I'll start sharing my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
We do.
Okay, so let's say like what is Next.js? You might have heard a lot about Next.js. Next.js is nothing but it's a React framework. It's built on top of React. We all know that React is a front-end library, which mostly used for front-end applications. You built your most web application. You use your React for front-end. However, Next.js is a full stack framework. You can handle both the front end and the back end. And there is also features like server-side rendering. You can also write your APIs in Next.js. You don't need to use back end like Express service like Express. And it makes building a website a lot more easier, and its routing is very easy because you are going to use like file-based routing, which I'm going to come into later, and it is using server-side rendering. And because it is having server-side rendering, it is very SEO friendly. That means search engine optimized. Um, so that was a lot of keywords. Let's go one by one. Sorry. Yeah, so what is server-side rendering? Server-side rendering is nothing but the server is the one which is creating the HTML pages, and it's sent to you. So whenever that means whenever you're hitting a browser URL, it is actually preloading with HTML, rather than if you have like a React, what happens is it actually starts with the JavaScript. So first the JavaScript loads the browser loads the JavaScript, and then it will create the HTML file. So there is a delay in the whole process. So that's why it is not search engine optimized, because the first time when the search engine sees your website, it's only going to see a blank page. However, in the case of Next.js, since it is server-side rendering, it is already pre-built with the HTML pages. And so for that reason, when the search engines or like Google hit your um, website first, it will actually see the HTML, the content of it ahead of time. So for that reason, it's a faster loading. That's why we call it as search engine optimized. In what cases you can use Next.js? If you want to create a easy small front-end full stack application, and you don't want to use a lot of back-end services like Express or any things like that, it's not very back-end heavy. In that cases, you can actually use Next.js. And in some cases, when you need your service to be like search engine optimized, such that like in my case, I'm going to create like a flower shop e-commerce website today. So somebody's go and search for flower shop in Google. I want my website to be on the first page listed. So that's so when you're using Next.js, it is actually giving you the capability, because it is search engine optimized. It will be showing up on the first page itself. Not the first page itself. I mean, in the main, I mean it that it'll be it's it yeah, you can actually improve the optimization, and it'll show up in ahead of time. So in this section, what you're going to do is like, we are going to set up a Next.js app, and I'm going to mention a little bit about what is the server components and client components, and how to use app router, and how to create APIs in Next.js. Let's go to our session. Is there any questions right now before getting into the presentation?
I don't see any questions in the chat.
Okay.
You can proceed. Thank you.
Okay. Let's start. Let's start with creating our first project. So you can go to your VS Code and just type in npx create next app at latest. So I'm gonna name my project like my flower shop app. I'm not going to use TypeScript for this, and I'm going to hit all the default buttons. Source directory. It will take a few seconds to create the project setup for us. Um, is there any questions? Uh, so if you want to actually improve your search and optimization, I think you can add a lot of keywords in your metadata and probably edit there and probably add like the image compression tool, something like that. You can do that. That's, I think, how you can probably make it more optimized for with React. Not much aware, but I think it is more to do with that. You can add a lot more keywords. So when your search Google sees your website, it actually knows what is inside your website. So that's what it actually needs. Okay, so it's created the first our app folder, and let's cd into the folder. I'm gonna run the command npm run dev, and let's see how it looks. It's a bit slow. Okay, so this is our default Next.js page. Um, and this is the one which is automatically created. So you can go and edit on app directory and page.js. That is our home page is uh, sitting. So, and first, before going into that, I'll just give a brief intro on what are the folder structure and what are the files inside it. So you'll definitely have like a package.json where it will have all the dependency files and all the scripts you need. So in our project, we are using Tailwind. That's why it is listed over there. And Next.js version 15, React 19. And then there will be like some config files like post CSS config file. It is listed Tailwind here, and some config files, JS config files. Um, and what if you have any kind of images or anything, you can actually put it in the public folder. And the important directory which we have right now is our app directory. That's where all our code is going to be written. So let's say what are the files inside here. So page.js. Page.js is our home page. So whatever we are going to write here, it'll be on our home page there. So for the first thing, I'm going to delete everything inside here and just start with So it immediately renders whatever you have written in the homepage here. So that's the first thing. What if you want to start in the page.js? So it is a convention in Next.js, or whenever you're writing any route, you actually write it as page.js. And the next important thing is the layout.js. So layout.js is actually creates the layout for whole website. So if you have any components like UI components which is shared across multiple pages, you can actually list it here. One of the example is like a header and footer. So it will be same across all your websites. So you can actually put your headers and footers over here. So maybe above the children. Children is the home page, so you can put header in above here. I'm gonna do that later. And global CSS is where you can add any other CSS files or anything you want to change. You can do it here. Um, So one of the not one of the easiest way you can actually create a root in Next.js is just by creating another folder and then um, writing another page.js file inside it. What it means, like in our in so we are having a flower shop. So what is the one thing? It's an e-commerce website. So they'll be having like an about page and there'll be like a card page, all those things in your website. So how can you create a card page or an about page? All you have to do is like you can go to the app folder and create a folder named cart. And inside it, you can just say another file called page.js. And you can just write export. I'm actually using GitHub Copilots to make it easier for me to write the code. And you go to your website and you can just hit the endpoint URL cart, and you'll see whatever you have actually added in that cart page is actually listed over here. So it's as easy as just creating a folder and writing another files. Similar way, you can just add another about page. Just create another folder named about, and inside it you can just say page.js. If you go back to your browser and hit the URL /about, now you can see your about page. Is there any do you have any questions here before getting into the?
Not for now. We're good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, just so so currently we have our first page. So maybe we can add some styling to it. So I hope people knows a little bit of Tailwind. If it's not, you can actually use this link, which is actually a cheat sheet for Tailwind, and you can actually use this. I mostly use this to get the styling done. So I'm going to use a font bold and text probably like 5XL. I can understand everything from here, say font size. So all this is listed here in this website. So you can actually, using 48px for the heading and text. So it's very easy to actually style your page with Tailwind. And one more thing which I would love to add is like how to add components and probably like a footer, a header in our page. So for that, you need to add. You can add a components folder inside your app folder. And there you can add a header folder. And you can write header.jsx. In order to add your header component in your across all the pages, what you just need to do is you have to just import in your layout file. So go to your layout file and then you can here just say header and then it'll automatically update over there. So currently I haven't done any styling to your the header component. Let's go back and do some styling there. Too big. So and if you go to other pages as well, you can be automatically able to see the header across all the pages. So next thing, you don't navigate using just like typing the URL like that. You actually you can actually provide a link. So to do that, you can import link from Next.js and just say link. This to our homepage. Yeah, now the links are working. So now you have a home page, an about page, and cart page. Now you need to list all your products. So how do you do that? You can actually go back to your home page.jsx. Before that, you need to create a component for flower. So I'm gonna create a flower shop. So I'm gonna list all my flowers on a as a flower list. Please stop me if I'm going too fast or you don't understand anything. This is very similar to React. You can just write a component and import into your pages. Just say, am I missing something? Okay, no. Let's list the name of a flower, probably like rose, and then on a price tag. And what is the next thing we need? We need a picture. So for that, I have some images here. So I'm gonna copy it and keep it in my public folder. Go back to the components. Next.js have a built-in image tag, which you can actually use to oh yeah, I haven't imported image, sorry. So this is how easily you can render an image inside your app. Okay. So now you have an image, probably have some styling done. So I just showed you like how can you render like one single image inside your Next app. So how do you read? But your data is not just like single, right? So you have to read it from a file. So I do have like a flower data.json file. I'm gonna put it in a data folder over here. And I'm gonna read it from this file. Console log.
Oh.
Uh,
Sorry, Yamuna, can you explain
yeah.
what so are you trying to just see if this component is retrieving the data? What's the console log for?
Yes, what I'm going to do is like, so I have like the JSON data file, which has all the image, information for the images. And then, so I'm going to, instead of reading from, just hard coding it, I'm going to read it from this file and then going to render it, inside, the website. Give me a minute. So, um, don't- I'm sorry, I don't understand what is going on wrong here. Like,
Yamuna, do you mind if you walk us through your errors and what you're trying to accomplish and what is JSON file? Give us a little bit more read through what is really happening right now.
Oh, sure, sure. So what I'm trying to do currently is that so we have I have like a .json file. It has all the IDs and like the name of all the roses and what my products and the prices and all the details of all these products which I'm going to list in my website. So what I'm trying to do is I have a component here. So I'm going to read that JSON data over here, and then I'm just want to render it on the website. So, and my issue is that it's showing me some error.
Can we see the error again? Perhaps someone in the audience will have
Yeah,
it as well.
sorry. Yeah, let me just try one more time. Can't resolve dot data. Is it not data? What did I name it?
You have to add one data. I think that the data folder is within data folder. You have two data folders.
No, I
Oh no, sorry.
this is other directory altogether. So this is where my data is residing. ./data. It should be okay. Okay, I'm gonna ask my Copilot, so it's easier. What's Are you guys using Copilot?
We are.
Yeah,
sure.
I have it, but I don't like it. Yeah.
Let's see what it says. Should it? Okay, it is looking inside the app folder, but why is it looking inside the app folder? Will that change it? Okay, for the timing, I'm gonna put my folder inside the app folder. I don't know why. Doesn't need to be. Anyone have any idea? Like,
No, sorry. I don't. I always have
okay,
trouble.
it was working before. Give me a second.
Perhaps since we're approaching 2 p.m., like we're
Oh,
20 minutes.
oh, give me a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's okay. I was just going to say if you want to jump onto the, other
This is crucial
explanation.
for me to explain the next thing. That's why. Um,
Okay, no worries.
oh, let me see. Like, how did I do it before? Um, Same thing. What is different? It's just the same. Let me try this. Um, I'm really sorry. I just don't understand why it's not working. Should be. Should be working.
Yamuna, can you try to copy the path which Copilot proposed as the correct? Maybe this will solve it.
Okay, let me try that as well. Is it coming from here itself? I'm really sorry, guys. So probably I'll just explain from this point of view, which I have already developed the file. So you can actually I use the same way previously. So I actually create put my data in the JSON data in the data folder, and in the components you can actually list it, and um, I'm sorry. Is there anything anybody has any suggestions or I can do?
I Yeah, I'm not seeing it either. I have difficulty with importing like paths too. I would
Okay, but it
suggest
was working before, so that's why I used the same thing just a while ago. So
have you tried reinitializing the
okay,
yeah,
maybe I'll just
and for
create.
the error. Just wondering what why
I'll
module
just
not
I'll just probably delete this folder and try again. I don't know if it's gonna work.
I'll also suggest if we do not resolve this with this, we can move on and you can just explain in theory how this
Um,
would work. And
okay,
then when we share the recorded session, we can put your notes on how you resolved it later.
it's not for data, it's for data. Huh. I Okay, I'm clueless at this point. I don't know why it's not working. It should be working. It's just I don't know why it's not importing. Okay. Um, so what is the next step? If you have your data as an array, what is the next thing you can do? Is actually you can let me probably copy it and then put it in a Now you can actually map through the data and you can actually list all the images over there. Give it a second. Okay, so this was what I was trying to do. So I was trying to import that JSON data file, and I have all the information for all the image parts, different bokehs, so all the pictures. So this is how you can actually import the file. So in this case, I'm actually rendering it from the front end, as you can see. But most of the cases we don't get the data directly from the front end. You actually read it through the back end. To get the same information from the back end, you have to create an API endpoint. So what you can do to create an API endpoint, you can go to their app folder and create a API folder. Inside it, you can just create a flowers endpoint. You can just add a instead you have to route.js. I'm going to copy paste my data over here. So currently, in the first time, we were actually getting the reading the data from the front end. To get it from the back end, you can just create an endpoint like this way, and this is an API endpoint. In order to test it, you can go to the Postman and just create. I'm going to create a collection. So this is as easy as creating a backend endpoint. As you can see, this is now currently an API call. So this is how you will get you can create an API endpoint in Next.js. You can get the same data in your front end by creating use React hook. One thing I forgot to mention when I said like client-side rendering and server-side rendering is that in uh in in Next.js, automatically whatever code you're writing, it is actually taken as it is from the server. So if you are actually using any React hooks or any React components, you have to explicitly specify this is a client component. So that is the error we are seeing here. Currently, I'm using a React hook, but I haven't mentioned that it is a client component. So that's why we are seeing this error. So for that, you have to do is like you have to explicitly mention this is a client component. So in this case, currently what we have done is instead of reading any file in the front end, we are actually calling the backend, and we actually created the endpoint, and the data we seeing currently, it is coming from the backend. So that is how you can actually create an endpoint in Next.js like that. So it's like a full stack app instead of just like front end. I don't know if it's at the time is like almost exciting. Like, do you guys have any questions on this?
I don't have any questions in the chat right now. But yeah, that was great explanation. Can you talk?
So one more thing I would love to explain is that so the one thing which is in Next.js is like a dynamic routing. Probably I can just explain that too. Like one, do you have any questions?
Uh, Jyoti has a question. Sh- they say, "Hi Yamuna, loving the session. So, just wondering, is experience with React a must before going into Next.js?"
So because it is actually a React framework, it is built on top of React. You need to have some understanding of React before going into Next.js. It's not, at least I'm not saying you should be a pro in React, but at least you should know like basics of React, and then routing and stuff, because whatever we are creating, all the things which you are using currently, all the React hooks and everything, it is coming from React. So you have to have some understanding of React.
Okay, thank you. And Matt
Oh.
asked for you to walk us through again how you created that backend endpoint.
Okay, so backend endpoint is just a file-based routing. So it's the same way you have created all the pages. You can just say like API, and then the only difference here is that when you are creating an API, is to just say route.js instead of page.js. And currently, I'm just using this one like because I couldn't import my file. I'm just giving it as like a data over there. Other than that, you have to import next response. It's a that's how you send the response in Next.js, and you can just write a function, export function get request, and just return next. You're just returning the file which you are reading.
Thank you. So
Um,
does it always have to be called route.js? Is that,
Yes, yes, that's a convention. So in Next.js, whenever you are writing a page, like any URL for the front end, it should always be on page.js, and if it's in the back end, it should be route.js. That's like the convention which you follow.
Okay.
And any route, if you specifically want to, you can just, it's like a easier, you can just create an API if you want to create another API called like maybe say products or something like that. The similar way you just create one and then add like another route.js file, and then similar ways. It's just function handler, just say oh, sorry, I don't have any. So it's a similar way you can just say, I think I might have made some error writing this code, but yeah. So, but this is how easy it is to actually, you can just write your endpoints here. Did I miss something? Yeah, so this is how you can actually create backend endpoints. I missed some of the topics, but I don't think I have time to cover it right now. So this is like, there is dynamic routing. So whenever you have hitting on one of the flowers or something, it has to go to the detail page. So for that, you need to use dynamic routing. It's also actually very easy. You just have to say like a flower. You click on one of these flowers, and it has to list this flower and then the details of that flower. So what you can do is like just say create a page like flower, and then inside it you can create to create make it dynamic. All you have to do is like you have to just say flower ID in the in square brackets, and you can write another page.js. And if I say flower slash rose, it will actually list you that flower page. So that's how you can actually do it. Um, Probably it's not. It's, yeah, so that is how you can actually create a dynamic route. Um, Listing correctly, but yeah, that is how you can actually do it. You can do the similar way in so yeah, you can do the similar way with actually backend endpoints as well. Is there any doubts up until now? I'm sorry if it's not go as it expected.
No, it's I have no questions in the chat right now, but it's something we expect when we're looking at live coding, and it's actually really helpful to see someone else debug and try to solve the issues because
Yeah, I cannot see the ROS. It should be the ROS because I'm actually using that. It should be displayed there. I don't know why it is not displaying over here.
I think there's a typo in the family between the brackets there. Says flower slash flower.
It looks fine.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
just log it. Oh, shoot, what's ah it's said as undefined. I don't know why it's coming as undefined. I'm sorry, I can understand why it's coming as undefined. Yeah, so I'll probably fix it and later send the updated code.
thank you. Are you going to share the repository with?
Yeah, I'll share the I'll update all this code and probably share the repository and um yeah, so the main topics you should understand about Next.js is that it has file-based routing, and you can actually write your backend like API calls here and the front end also here. So, and the main stuff is like whenever you are creating a new page, you should name it as page.js, and you can follow the path. Whatever folder you create, it will automatically becomes like a URL path. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. I think that's it almost looks like magic for someone who uses React and has to use a lot of other libraries for routing and creating
Yeah,
pages as well. So
yeah, it's actually like for me, I don't like Express as much. So for me, I feel like okay, I love this because it's all, everything in the same place. So for me, it looks more easier.
definitely looks so. I'm looking for studied more, and yeah, I think once
I'm
the
also just in the starting phase, so that's why probably I will not be able to fix all these errors. So I'll just fix all these errors and then upload it in the GitHub.
Thank you, Yamuna. That was
Yeah.
a good session, and don't worry about the debugging. We all
Yeah, sure.
learn from it as well. Thank you everyone for coming in and for showing up for our session. We'll share the recordings later, and also Yamuna is going to share the repository with the fixes. And yeah, thank you very
Yeah.
much. Have a great Thursday,
And one
everyone.
more thing is like because Next.js is made by Vercel, actually it's very easy to actually deploy any of your Next.js project in Vercel. You can just, there is no hiccups, you just directly provide your GitHub link and it immediately deploys it. So you don't have any issues. So it's easier if you have a Next.js project, then you can deploy it directly in Vercel. So that also you can try. It's very easy. You just go to Vercel and then just create or give the GitHub link and it will automatically be deployed.
Great, good for portfolio projects as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Easy to deploy. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
everyone
you.
for coming in. Thank you, Yamuna, for the session, and great Thursday, everyone.